Making new friends, keep the old friend walking on a cloud. Let's have some fun till it.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Because we have music, it's our Sunday concert, and boy, tonight is going to be exceptional. We are so excited to welcome very good friends, Mai Bloomfield and Howard Levy tonight. So you're in for a real treat. Um, it's been what, 2 weeks, Paul, since we did our last concert.
Yes.
And so we've gone to a format of every other week, and so our next concert will be on September 27th. But we'll tell you more about that in just a minute. I want to say hi. Hi, Mai.
Hi.
Hi, Howard. He's just going to wait to me. Well, I want to tell you a little bit about Mai Bloomfield because she is a very special lady. She's a singer, songwriter, celloist, guitarist, and composer. And she's a solo artist that has received many songwriting awards from Kerrville to Telluride to Rocky Mountain Folks Festival. She has some very, very impressive collaborators. She's worked with artists that include Jason Mraz, Rainy Jane, Adam Cohen, Sarah Bareilles, Willie Porter, and Leonard Cohen. So this woman's got her stuff together. She's got her act together. So we welcome Mai, and she's going to kick off our evening tonight. So Mai, what are you going to play for us?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this. And thank you all for coming and joining us. I'm coming to you live from California where it's 4 o'clock. And man, it's just really cool to be here. I'm just sort of it's 4:01, so I'm going to give people a second to keep coming on. But I'm just so excited to be here. This is the first time I've done anything like this during quarantine. But I have to say, I've been surviving on watching these the whole time on quarantine. It started, right away in March. And all my new best friends live in the podcast world and in live stream. And the good thing is, we've all been friends in the music industry for so long that these are our good friends, that we're getting to see online. It's just a new platform, and it really has been a lifeline to me. So I want to thank you, Kid Panali, Paul, and Cheryl for inviting me to be here.
Well, we
Um,
really wanted to have you. You know, we've known Mai for years from Rocky Mountain Song School. Uh, uh, I don't know how long you were coming, but I've been there since the very beginning, which was I think 26 or 27 years ago.
uh,
And I remember, but I don't remember when I first met you, and was just so taken by your music and by your cello playing and guitar playing.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, we met, it must have been about 10 or 12 years ago, maybe about 12 years ago. I first went out to the song school in Colorado, and it's normally our summer reset. We always meet up there, about 100 to 200 people meet in the beginning of August, and we all write songs and workshop and get inspired and camp out by the river and reset. And this was the first year we weren't able to do that. Thankfully, everybody's being safe. But we've relied so much on seeing our loved ones on virtual spaces like this. And, I think everybody is learning how to slow down and find a connection to nature, even hopefully, out on the sidewalk. If it's some grass coming up in between the cracks of the sidewalk, or you've never looked at that tree the same way before, I think we're learning a lot. I'm getting new eyes and ears. And so I think I'll kick us off with a song that really does serve this time pretty well. But the thing is, I wrote this when I went through breast cancer. And that was about 8 years ago now. And I'm on the other side of my particular journey. At least, I'm on this part of the journey right now. Um, Cancer definitely teaches us. Thank you, love hearts. teaches us we can't control everything. We cannot control everything. Life is very uncertain. And now more than ever, we all understand this. Whether we like it or not, everything is changing all the time. And so I wrote this as a way to reckon with how do we live with change? How do we embrace change in our lives? And I looked at it through the lens of cancer, but boy, it's so relevant now. I think you guys will relate to the words, whether you've ever known anyone going through cancer or yourself. But I wrote this with my friend Steve Seskin, and this is called Everything's Changing. I never asked for this.
Hear her, but she's just not
It
loud.
came out of nowhere. It had me silently screaming, paralyzed and scared.
I would love to hear
How
her.
do you know? Why am I hearing talking? What's happening? Is someone trying to communicate something to me?
No, we're good. Sorry.
Okay, Ryan's on controls. Give it up for Ryan, everybody. Okay, this is my first. Sorry if I give us some awkward stumbles along the way. I didn't know if someone was saying, turn it up. Okay, you tell me, Ryan. Okay,
No, you sound great.
thanks. So where we were. So how do you know what to hold on to when it feels like your whole world has been pulled out from under you? Everything is changing, 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 changing. So much for making plans. I had it all mapped out, but all my time it's taken up wrestling with this now. And how do you know which path to take when it feels like so much hinges on the choices we have to make? 'Cause everything is changing, changing. It's changing, changing. Everything is changing, changing. There's no escaping it or running away from it. It's a curious relationship. We push it away, then we pray for it. We pray for it. Oh, it shakes, it breaks up. It makes a mess of us. It hurts, but it heals. It brings out the best in us. Everything is changing, changing. It's changing, changing, changing. And how this turns out, it isn't all up to me, no. But with every crisis comes an opportunity, an opportunity, yeah, yeah. The very thing that left me in the dark,
Honey,
it
you know,
was the very thing that led me to my heart. 'Cause there's no escaping it or running away from it. It's a curious relationship. We push it away, then we pray for it. We pray for it. Oh, it shakes and it breaks up. It makes a mess of us. It hurts, but it heals. It brings out the best in us. Everything is changing, 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 changing. Everything is changing, changing, changing. It's changing, and again and again and again and again and again and again. The crowd goes wild. Thank you. I love the little silent clapping.
Oh my God.
Come on.
You are so right. Everything is changing. How, first of all, I didn't realize that you are a cancer survivor. So what a journey.
Absolutely.
And I think we're all on a parallel journey right now.
Absolutely.
You know,
It,
either way.
it's so true. I mean, this is teaching us all compassion. That's one thing you get out of a crisis when you go through a illness or cancer or you lose somebody.
So it's there, but it's just not very
It's
loud.
just like so much compassion.
What? You see me?
And you start to realize
My name is?
everybody is walking around with something. You know, you don't know that until you're the one going through it.
Right.
And now we all know that everybody is walking around with something. And we're in this together, and we're going to get through this together.
Well, thank you for sharing
thank
that
you.
song. And it's inspirational to remind us that things are going to be okay. Everything changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carrie's showing the video in Sperryville because we live in Rappahannock County, and a lot of people here don't have, well, we say they're bandwidth challenged. So we're showing it there. And Carrie, if you can keep your mic muted there, if it's not loud enough, turn it up on the back of the speaker. I think is probably the best. Okay.
So they're actually having a live experience,
Yes.
which is, we're very excited because it just brings music to more people and more of our friends and more of our community. Well, now we're going to turn the page.
I see Steve Seskins out there in our audience, and he was a co-writer of that last song. Old friend of mine. Also
Hey, Steve.
teaches with us at Rocky Song School. Hello,
There's Steve.
Good to see you, Steve. And Steve's going to be on our next concert on the 27th.
On the 27th. It'll be so good to have you there.
Looking forward to it.
Great to see you, Steve.
Yeah. So let's turn the page. We have, the bio is so long and so amazing. Howard Levy, he is universally acknowledged as the world's most advanced diatonic harmonica player. He developed a full chromatic style on the standard 10-hole diatonic harmonica, revolutionizing harmonica playing and taking the instrument into a whole new territory. Not to mention all the other instruments that he plays, and sometimes all simultaneously, I might add.
Yes.
He's just really phenomenal. His musical adventures include journeys into jazz, pop, rock, world music, Latin. The list goes on. And for film, he's appeared on hundreds of CDs, won 2 Grammys, a Joseph Jefferson Award for Best Original Music for a Play, and has performed many, many times on American and European television and radio. So please welcome Howard Levy. Hey, Howard.
Hey, Howard.
Hey, I'm my own band. Great.
You are.
You know, I have to say that when Mai was talking about the rocky grass, I started smelling that fresh Colorado air smell. It's the things that we hold on to in this time because none of us can go anywhere. Sometimes I think about food that I've had in other countries and, you know, the smelling the air someplace, you know, it's like sometimes I describe my live streams as like welcome to my holodeck, you know, that's what it feels like right now. We have to create all this, you know, this imaginary environments for ourselves, you know. It's tough. It's a tough time.
Yeah. It is. But you look great. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, likewise. You look wonderful, and it's Paul as well. And
Paul looks like he always has.
well, life is very interesting. I'm really trying to be productive, and my wife is helping me tremendously with stuff. And in the last few years, I've managed to put out a whole bunch of CDs, even a book. And I've started singing. I'm not going to grace your airwaves with any of my vocals tonight, but I'm really expanding my productivity into a lot of areas. And I figure if not now, then when?
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. And I loved your book, Howard.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Songs, poems, and stories. And yeah, I'm starting to work on an audio book version of it, and I realize I have to sing the songs. So that's the way I'm going to get my first vocal recordings out there. Oh boy.
So what are you going to do for us tonight?
Well, that first song was pretty heavy, and I don't really collaborate with that many people, but I was thinking of a collaboration that I've been doing with Johann Sebastian Bach for a while. And I have played in his hometown several times in Leipzig, but he didn't come to hear me. I don't know why. But Bach's music is eternal. It's so fantastic, and it could be played so many different ways. And so I kind of reimagined this slow movement from a flute sonata. I always heard it as being bluesy. I mean, the first 6 notes are, oops, have to hit the right one. It's like a blues lick, and it always sounded bluesy to me, so I played this very kind of bluesy, gospel-y piano accompaniment to it. Well, I guess the dog doesn't like the harmonica. That does happen.
In my musical, the dog loves the harmonica and barks just on cue in The Talented Clementine. So,
well, we'll see what happens today with the dog. But so this is the slow movement from Bach's flute sonata, the first flute sonata in B minor, and it's in D. And it's the only time I'm gonna play with a virtual track here. This is my piano track that I played. So I'm gonna push a button and lay it on you here, okay? Thank you.
Oh my gosh, that was so amazing. It's beautiful.
Unbelievable.
Thank you. Thank you. I actually notated it, the improvisation I did on my recorded version of it, which I recorded one morning at my house, and it's available for sale on my website, along with the piano part, which I also notated. And I improvised the piano part after, lots of practicing, looking at the music, and then finally, I don't need to look at the music. I know the changes of this tune, because Baroque music, it was a lot like jazz. A lot of times they didn't even write out the full piano accompaniment part. They just had the bass line and chord symbols and the melody. And the pianists and harpsichord players of the day were expected, well, of course, you know how to accompany this with, everyone could read a lead sheet, and that's the way it was. So that's kind of my approach, and I'm glad you all enjoyed it.
It was beautiful. And so that was also you on piano, correct?
Yes, that was my first take on piano there, and I was just really revved up this one morning, and I said, I'm going to just do this, bang, and then it was something that had been percolating for a long time. I really like improvising on classical themes. It's one of the things I like doing, because all the classical composers, they were all improvisers.
Right.
And they were all great players, and it's just that they wrote everything down because that was the only way to transmit music at the time. Either you'd go to hear it live, or you'd buy the music. And so all of them wrote music the way we record. I mean, they just like, boom.
All over the place, whether it be on a napkin, on a wall, wherever they could write it.
Or the way Howard records anyway, which is...
Well, and... I just have to tell you, I have witnessed Howard playing his harmonica and the piano all at the same time.
And I think we'll see that.
We possibly will see that.
Wow.
So I guess we're going to follow with the song. And it's a Kid Pan Alley song that you wrote with Terry Allard in a class actually here in Rappahannock.
Here in Rappahannock County. I think it was with fourth graders. And we thought it would be a real appropriate song to do today. It's on one of our albums. It's called Wake Up. And it's really a song like we all need to wake up about what's going on with the climate. And especially knowing that we have so many friends who are watching tonight who are out in California and on the West Coast. And oh God, we see the pictures and it's heartbreaking to see what's going on out there. And so this is a song called Wake Up.
Gotta take care of our planet. The phoenix flies with fire on his wings, shaking off the ashes he rises as he sings. Ooh, wake up, Mr. Sun, come out of your cave, a new day has begun. What makes you think that you can sleep in? Without you we'd have no oxygen. If you sleep all day and sleep all night, we'd have to live in darkness, there'd be no light. We covered up the sun with all our pollution. In our darkest times we need a good solution. The seas are rising, the glaciers are sinking, there's a hole in the ozone. What were we thinking? Wake up! Mr. Sun, wake up! Everyone! Apollo might be the god of the sun, but even he can't fix what we've done. The phoenix may die and come back again. Who will save the earth for our children? We covered up the sun with all our pollution. In our darkest times we need a good solution. The seas are rising, the glaciers are sinking, there's a hole in the ozone. What were we thinking? Wake up! Mr. Sun, wake up! Everyone! Yes, we covered up the sun with all our pollution. In our darkest times we need a good solution. The seas are rising, the glaciers are sinking, there's a hole in the ozone. What were we thinking? Wake up! wake up.
All right. Woo.
Awesome.
Wake up the world.
Wake up, everybody.
If you weren't awake, you are.
Yeah.
Wake.
Sounds so great, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank
And
you.
Paul, of course.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, that was, we were doing a residency that was sponsored by Piedmont Environmental Council, and so we wrote a bunch of songs with the kids about the environment, and that was one of them.
So I want to send a message out to everyone that's watching, both in the Zoom room and also on Facebook. If you notice what's scrolling down at the bottom, we do have a tip jar for all of our artists performing tonight. And so we hope that you will give, and you will give generously. The arts have been significantly impacted by COVID. Most of us don't have places to perform, or we perform in online venues such as these. And so for musicians, this is just a real generous gift that you can give to them. So please check it out. It's scrolling along the bottom there, and you can make your donations. So we're going to swing back, Mai.
Oh, and I wanted to say hi to a couple of people.
Paul's going to say hi.
Because I see some people who I have not, old friends of mine who I have not seen
Okay.
in a long, long time. Mike Rivers, who I've known since I was in high school, is here, and a wonderful sound engineer and a great guitar player. And also Paul Epstein from my old days in West Virginia. There, and then Marky Tony, who lives over in Sperryville, and his dog's going at it there. We also just have so many old friends here with us tonight. Mitchell Gallen, who's one of our Kid Pan
Mike
Alley
Beck's
board
on.
members. What's your?
Mike Beck's on.
Oh, Mike Beck. You know, well, let me introduce Mitchell first.
I'm sorry.
Because that's what I was doing.
Sorry, Mitchell.
So Mitchell's one of our Kid Pan Alley board members. He's a great film and television producer. He produced a bunch of Stephen King films, the Dune trilogy for HBO, and he lives in Hawaii.
On the island of Kauai.
And Mitchell's been on our board ever since the beginning of Kid Pan Alley. So I'm glad to see you out there, Mitchell. And then also welcome Mike Beck, who's another friend of ours from Rocky Mountain Song School, one of the teachers there. And we were going to be, Mike and I were putting on a songwriting school in Italy in May. And obviously it didn't happen. But we're hoping to be able to do that again sometime. And we had Mike and I and Tom Paxton and
Issei Barnwell.
Issei Barnwell, and a great Italian songwriter. But anyway, welcome, Mike, and welcome to all of you who are out there. Thanks for tuning in, giving us a chance to let some of this music out, because we do have music.
Because we have music. Okay, so we swing back around, because it's all in the round this evening. So Mai, play us another song.
All right. Man, there's so much talent here. It's amazing. And just everything that you guys are doing at Kid Pan Alley. I'm always so excited to tell people about it, teaching songwriting to kids year round. And you had the kind of the foundation already going, and it seems like you're thriving really well during this time. And songwriting is such a lifeline. A lot of people are, even if you've never been a songwriter before, this is a great time to start. Like just write down whatever's going on and take a walk and start singing it. I'll take one of these out. I find that, when we're writing songs, a lot of times they help us process what we're going through. And this next song I'm going to play was exactly that. This is a new song. It's the newest song that I've written, and also written with Steve Seskin. It just so happens we've written 2 songs together, and they both were fitting for today. But Steve called me up a while ago as things were just underway, and asked if I wanted to write, and we set a date. And between the time of the phone call and the date, like a FaceTime writing session, George Floyd was murdered before our very eyes. And it was the very end of May 29th. And then there was the funeral, and I mean, just the whole world has been so riveted right now. We're all on the edge of our seat, kind of watching this big story unfold and all the different layers of this story. And I think it's so poignant that we're all actually tuned into the same channel right now. And so we're all paying attention to the same stories. And Paul and Cheryl, you just sang this song about climate change. And I think the one amazing thing that we've gotten out of the pandemic is this undeniable sense of connection. Like, we realize the connection we have on a physical level, geographically, and certainly spiritually and psychologically. And sometimes it takes something like that to realize that we make an impact in the world. And so maybe this is going to actually open everybody's eyes to climate change, realizing what we do over here affects you over there. Mm-hmm. And it's going to last a long time. So I think after George Floyd's murder, that was another crucial issue that really came to the surface for us. And it's been going on, obviously, for a long time. But Steve and I got together and decided, well, this was what we needed to talk about. I was like, this is the only thing I can think about. So let's just talk about this and see if a song comes out of it. But it was mostly, I know I'm talking a lot, but it's story time. I took it as an opportunity to work through a lot of the feelings and questions I was having, and we used the songwriting process to really grapple with that. So this song is in recognition of the Black Lives Matter movement, and it's called The Whole Wide World is Watching. And Reverend Al Sharpton said something at George Floyd's funeral that really just leapt off the screen to me. He said, God took the rejected cornerstone and made him the center of the movement that's going to change the whole wide world. And it just put chills down my back. And I told Steve, and he's like, let's start with that. And so this is The Whole Wide World. Most of us are living in a bubble, minding our business, staying out of trouble. We talk about equality like it's almost a reality. Then one day it all blows up. Black man gets murdered in front of all of us. Suddenly it's clear as day. We can't just turn away. The streets are filled with indignation. People rise up, we pound the pavement. It's not about one man. Could the tipping point be at hand? The whole wide world is watching to see what happens next. To tackle this kind of problem, it starts with a protest. But only love can make it happen. So what if every last one of us put love in action? Imagine the chain reaction. The whole wide world is watching. Seems to me it's gonna take a miracle. Things are bound to get a little uncomfortable. Looking deep inside ourselves instead of blaming someone else. Oh, if we don't even recognize it, how on earth can we rectify this? Let's all take a deep breath and try to take the first step. The whole wide world is watching to see what happens next. To tackle this kind of problem, takes more than a protest. Only love can make it happen. So what if every last one of us put love in action? Imagine the chain reaction. The whole wide world is watching. Oppression, violence, condoned by our silence. We can all do better, we can all do better than that. Oh, it won't happen overnight, but if we all join this fight, we can change things one day at a time. 'Cause the whole wide world is watching. Yeah, the whole wide world is watching. Ooh, the whole wide world is watching to see what happens next. To tackle this kind of problem takes more than a protest. Only love can make it happen. What if every last one of us put love in action? Imagine the chain reaction. The whole wide world. We can all do better. The whole wide world. We can all do better. We can all do better. The whole wide world. We can all do better. We can all do better. The whole wide world is watching.
Wow.
We can all do better. The whole wide world. Thanks, everybody. You know, oh, wait.
Can you mute whoever that is, Paul? I mean,
This is so we're so engaged.
I know.
Yeah, you know, I think that's the thing I just wanted to say is we're all the whole wide world is watching. You know, we're on the edge of our seat watching so much, like trying to gauge how much news we allow in and what part of the conversation we want to be in, and we're watching and we're waiting to see. But all of this comes down to us starting at home and in our own communities a little bit every single day. And I think that's kind of the takeaway of that song is none of these things are possible unless we're all paying attention to the same thing. We're all going to take a little bit of action and imagine what would be
That's
possible.
so beautiful and that's so true.
oh, and everybody loved that song. Steve said, "Great job, Mai," and Angela said, "Beautiful, Mai," and I say, "So moving and so beautiful. Thank you for doing that song."
Thank you. And thanks, Steve Seskin, for working on that together.
Yep. And also want to thank a few of the people who have donated here tonight, because it all goes to the musicians. John Wells, Polly Scoville, and Shelley Phillips. And I don't necessarily see everybody, so if I have missed you, which I'm sure I have, please accept my apologies about that. We've got a lot of stuff going on in front of us, and I'm trying to pay attention to like 3 different screens, and I'm not so great at that.
Oh, you're pretty good at multitasking, Paul. But there is a lot. There's a lot that goes on. And for each of the artists, the preparation time, you know, connecting during the week, doing sound checks and things like that. So, you know, it seems so easy, but yet it is a beautiful effort to share by everyone that's participating tonight. And so we hope that you will appreciate that and donate generously. So we need to go all the way back to, I believe, Chicago.
Yep.
Hey,
Howard.
Howard, no.
Oh,
Back to Howard.
I want to tell a couple of stories on Howard here because I have known Howard for so long now. We first met Howard. Trapezoid, my band Trapezoid, was playing at the Winnipeg Folk Festival back in, I think, early to mid 80s. And after the concert, after the festival, there was a jam session. And there was Howard playing harmonica in one hand and piano in the other hand on bebop tunes. And he only had one key harmonica, and his harmonica is in a key. And he was playing and going between all these different keys. And Lorraine Dweezy, who is watching tonight, who was in Trapezoid with me, ran and got Bela Fleck and told Bela he had to listen to this cat. And Bela came down there. And that started the Flecktones. And the same night, it also started our long relationship with Howard. He's off and on played with us with Trapezoid. He was in my band, 1,000 Questions. He's pretty much been on every record I've been involved with for the last almost 40 years now, because he just takes it and sends it to the moon. He's such an amazing player. I call him a true genius, and he really is. So Howard Levy.
Well, shucks, folks. Can I introduce the next artist? No, Mai, that was a very heavy song, and I was imagining hearing thousands and thousands of people singing on the chorus of that.
wow.
It brought me back to the days of the late '60s when I marched in the big peace demonstrations in the streets of New York, and people were saying, "The whole world is watching." And it really makes you realize, unfortunately, the human race keeps repeating the same scenarios over and over again.
Yeah.
Except that, like your climate change song said, Mother Nature isn't sitting still, you know? We might be repeating the scenarios, but the scenarios are getting more and more, the effects are increasing exponentially as the population of the world. I mean, there's 5 times more people in the world than there were when I was born. Now, of course, I was born in 1852, but...
Well, you were collaborating with Bach, so...
That's right.
1750, perhaps.
Right. But really, I mean, you just have to step back and think every once in a while, like, how different the world is now than it was, 50 years ago, 60 years ago. It's the things that we do have much more of an effect. And if we don't have a more considerate mentality, things are just going to continue to slide like those glaciers and continue to melt like those ice caps. And so, it's the consequences of our actions are very profound. So it's, I had a few things prepared that I wanted to do today, and one of them is a poem I wrote, and Lorraine knows this one, and I'm just going to do a kind of a musical reading, playing version of it. I'm going to take my headphones off, so if anyone wants to say anything to me, I won't hear him. So. Make your heart a garden where things take root and bloom. Accept the fact that some must die in autumn's afternoon. Except the weight and cold of snow that falls in winter's night. It melts away in spring's sweet thaw on mornings filled with light. All time is not a summer. Nature gives and bends. Your heart will bloom in bursts of song you think will never end. The melodies come pouring out like sweet wine from the glass. But gradually, these tunes will change. How true all things must pass. But please don't neglect your garden and keep it free of weeds. And make the soil rich and loose so life can plant its seeds. Make your heart a garden where love can grow and bloom. And stop to smell the roses on a summer afternoon. Make your heart a garden where love can grow and bloom. And stop to smell the roses on a summer afternoon.
That's beautiful, Howard.
Howard, wow. I'm just always so amazed at the things you come up with, and both the brilliance of them, but also the courage in them. I was thinking back to the mid 80s when Julie and I were teaching at Augusta, and you were there, and you came into our class on songwriting and performance, and you sang for the students. And you really hadn't, you said you hadn't sung before. And it was such a magical moment for them because, you know, all of them were afraid, oh, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to write songs. I don't know how to perform. And then Howard Levy comes in there and does something that he doesn't know how to do either. And he's totally vulnerable. And that gave everyone license to reach further than they had ever reached before. And I've just been so amazed by how you reach out and find so many different ways to make music. So thank you.
You're welcome. It's a privilege to be here today. You know, this cyber universe that we're in is, like somebody was saying before, it's connecting us all together, maybe more than we ever have been before, and making us really, really treasure every opportunity that we have to make those connections and make those artistic statements. So that's the way I feel about it. Like everything that I do now has more significance than when I would, you know, be in a tour bus and it's like, okay, here's another night, here's another concert, and I always give my all every night, every place I ever play. But this is more focused intensity, perhaps.
We're not distracted by other things. We're really listening.
No, I'm not playing to the audience either. You know. Playing to the collective unconscious or something. You know, it's a different feeling.
Right, it is.
It took me a while. I do a live stream of my own every Thursday and raise money for the local food depository and I was very nervous at first, and then I realized, yes, people really are listening. Even though I am sitting in my house where I normally would never perform for anyone, I realized this is the new reality, and I should treasure these opportunities, and I do. Thank you.
Thank you,
Well,
Howard.
thanks, Howard. Beautiful.
So beautiful.
So, Howard, I'm going to ask you sort of off the cuff because, you know, Paul has stories about everybody. He's known them for a long time, and he can always come up with, you know, something that he remembers from an encounter, you know, stories about mine, stories about you. Do you by chance have a story about Paul that you could tell?
Oh, my goodness.
This will introduce Paul because he's going to play an amazing instrumental, but I thought, you know, come on, Howard.
Well, I mean, so many just great times that we had together playing gigs and recording. And there's one really funny thing that I just remembered when you said that. It was, oh my God, we had all flown out to play the Strawberry Festival.
Right.
And I can't remember if I flew from Chicago and met you at the airport in Oakland. It was Oakland.
Oakland, yeah.
For some reason. And Paul decided he was going to try to save money and rent a cheaper car. Somehow or other, I just can't remember all the details, but he pulled up in this wreck and we tried fitting everything into it and putting things on top of it, and it just didn't work. And I just...
Why am I not getting any sound?
Whoops. Hey, Tom, whoever you are, I guess I'll just keep talking. Or maybe we ended up driving this thing, but it was just an old wreck, and somehow or other, we got to Strawberry, and it was an absolutely unforgettable experience playing there. I had forgotten about the car part of it, but everything else about it was just incredible. We visited some old friends of yours who lived up in the mountains, who used to run a cafe in Beverly Hills. You remember this, Paul?
Oh, yeah. Bob DeWitt, who Woody Guthrie lived with him, and Bob was one of the most amazing people I've ever met. I have a ton of stories about Bob that I'll share with you sometime. But yeah, we went up to see Bob and Doey, his wife, up there in the Sierra Nevadas.
Yes. Yeah, they had peacocks roaming around. I mean, it was just a really wild experience. And then we played the, I think it was like a gospel breakfast or something.
Oh.
Is that true?
Oh, yeah, no, I remember that. And what happened is we got up there, and you know, there were 3 people of the Jewish persuasion in our band, and only 1 or 2 Christians. And it was supposed to be a Sunday morning gospel show. And I think I said something to the effect of, well, you know, gospel music is music that's has meaning for you, that's supposed to move you and bring you closer to Source. And while we're mostly Jewish, we'd like to do music that meant something, that meant that much to us. And we did this most amazing set, and people were just so supportive of it. I remember that being one of the high points of our trapezoid shows out there at Strawberry Bluegrass Festival. And of course, we were not a bluegrass band, as many of you may remember. So it was so good to be welcomed to a gospel set on a bluegrass festival and do our own music and have that reach so deeply into people's hearts.
Yeah, I remember that very fondly. There was something very, very deep and spiritual and moving about it. I think I was playing soprano sax a bunch on that one too, somehow. Wow. I'm time traveling, folks.
Okay, so now it's time to hear some amazing music that will encourage you to time travel from Paul Reisler. Paul?
Oops. Sorry. So this is a piece called Dolphins. I wrote it for my father's memorial service back, oh God, like 30 years ago. And I called it Dolphins because my dad didn't swim. He had never swum in his life, and I thought, well, now he can be up there swimming with the dolphins.
was beautiful, Paul.
Thanks, sir.
So what inspired you to write that?
Well, it was for my dad's memorial, and I wanted to write a special piece for him. And then I got to the synagogue and found that you're not allowed to bring instruments in. I had to play it at the gravesite since it was a conservative congregation, and the rabbi informed me that instruments were not allowed.
So I guess it wanted to be played outside,
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
closer to the dolphins.
I want to just say thank
Beautiful.
you to everyone who's been donating, and keep it up. If you so desire, please make sure that you just check out what's scrolling along the bottom, and you can make a donation. All the money is divided between the artists that are performing this evening, so please be generous.
Oh, and I want to just show a little moment of all the folks who are out there listening in Zoom land.
Everybody,
Everybody
wave.
say hi. And,
Yeah, we're going to unmute you, and everyone can say hello. Ready?
okay.
Set? Here we go.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you out there.
Thank you.
Being here with us. And if you have any, hey Shelley, and if you have any questions for any of the artists, this might be a good time to ask them. So just raise your hand, and I'll call on you.
Everybody know how to raise your hand in Zoom? Have you done all
How
the
does it-
webinars?
Raise it in front of your face. That's easy.
Oh, okay.
We learned that with kids. They're just kind of all over the place.
Yeah, we've been doing our Kid Pan Alley songwriting online since school's closed, and we figured out all these ways. Where,
Now unmuted.
Okay. So who has something they'd like to ask? Was that you, Gail?
I just want to, as always, thank you both for making sure our Sunday nights are so incredible.
Well, we so appreciate it. Gail and her husband, they're always with us every Sunday. And we have many
There's
folks.
Judd. There's Judd.
And I just ditto what Gail said. Ditto.
And we have faithful followers on Facebook Live that follow us, for every Sunday event. So we're just so great. We're just so glad we can bring this to you. And tonight's really spectacular.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so special.
Very special.
So we're going to make one more round.
Yeah,
And
I just wanted to say hi to our friends Dave and Edie Tatel.
Yes.
I see them there, and they're neighbors of ours, and wonderful, wonderful human beings.
Yes.
Okay, well let's do another round.
Let's swing back.
Swing
Mai.
back around.
Okay. Wow. That was so mesmerizing, Paul. Just beautiful.
Thank you, Mike.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for hosting this space. I was going to play my most gentle, jazzy, vibey song on the heels of what you both just did. But if we just got one more, I feel obligated to play this one. Let's see.
You guys will probably have two more.
Okay, well, if we get lucky and have another one, then my I'll do my best to meet those gentlemen where they left us. That was extraordinary. Yeah, Howard, I'm full of heavy songs these days. It's just how it goes. Yeah, when you go through cancer, like it's kind of inevitable. You're bound to write about that. Although I will say I didn't write at all for like the first couple of years. I didn't even really want to pick up my guitar while I was going through treatment and everything. I didn't know anybody who had gone through that was a musician. I didn't know any musicians personally, but I went through chemo and radiation, and I was very clear that I was going to keep living my life to the fullest the whole time. So I actually did go on tour while I was doing chemo and had some of the most amazing show experiences of my whole life, including opening for Bob Dylan in France. I mean, it wasn't Mai Bloomfield opening for Bob Dylan, but it was Adam Cohen, and I was in the trio, and I was at home. We got this invitation to go play, and I looked at my chemo schedule, and you know what? It lined up. And so these are the things, you look for the signs when you're going through it. And I traveled with this giant bag of medicine but I did it. And that concert particularly showed me a lot about the importance of really living your life to the fullest. And sometimes it takes being in like the down, 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 the bottom to actually realize how amazing it is. And you can hold both together at the same time. That's the thing. So later, when I was a little more at peace with everything, I wrote this song. This is called 3 Little Words. And I just want to say that I partnered up with this amazing organization called This Time Tomorrow Foundation, and they helped me release this song last year, and we made an amazing music video with a handful of cancer patients in it, and it's my one and only music video, so I would be so happy if you guys want to check it out later on YouTube, Mai Bloomfield, and share it with the ones you love. This is a message of hope. This is 3 Little Words. Maybe it's a curse, or maybe a cure. It's been 3 days since my life changed with 3 little words from the doctor's mouth. Those words hit the floor. I looked for the window, I looked for the door. How can something so small be so big? 3 little words change everything. Baby, oh baby, let me be sweet to you. Some things in life we still get to choose. Baby, oh baby, you're so sweet to me. Life is uncertain, let's give it everything. We drove out of the city, we climbed the New York sky, where you put a ring on my finger in the pink sunshine. Standing there by the river, ooh, at the edge of the day, the setting sun lit up the moon as if to say, baby, oh baby, let me be sweet to you. Some things in life we still get to choose. Baby, oh baby, you're so sweet to me. Life is uncertain, let's give it everything. So maybe it's a curse, or maybe a cure, 'cause it stopped my heart and it changed my life. 3 little words, I love you, I do. I love you, I do. I love you, I love you, I do. I love you, I love you, I do. Ooh, baby, oh baby, let me be sweet to you. I love you. Some things in life we still get to choose. Yeah, we do, yeah, we do. Baby, oh baby, you're so sweet to me. Life is uncertain. Life is uncertain. You know life is uncertain, and I know life is uncertain. But life is uncertain, and you're certain to me. Thank you all so much.
That was really great, Mai.
Nice.
I put the YouTube video in there for you in the chat so people can check it
cool.
out. So people
Thanks,
want to click on their
Ryan.
chat, they can go right to the music video.
It's really cool because this Time Tomorrow Foundation raises money. That's all they do is raise money to give to people with cancer. And they have this thing called the Random Acts of Kindness, and they just accumulate funds all year long. And anybody can nominate anybody who's going through cancer to receive some financial and love support. And they have a board of directors that reviews all the applications, and they get to give to so many people every year. And they come to your door. It's a surprise, like sweepstakes knock on the door. But the person who nominated the recipient knows, and they secretly plan this whole thing. And they show up at your door, and they give you a check, and they tell you their story, and then they kind of just leave, and it's the most beautiful act of kindness. And my mother and my brother were both diagnosed with cancer after me, and that's when I learned about the foundation after me, and I nominated them both, and they both were recipients. So it's just so nice to keep paying it forward. And there's a really cool thing we did just this last December in Milwaukee, or well, just actually very close to Kenosha even. And we went out to a Walmart out there that normally I never go to Walmart, but Walmart decided to sponsor a giant surprise rack for like 20 cancer recipients, and all their families brought them there secretly. You have to imagine when you're going through chemo and all that, you do not want to leave your house, and it's wintertime, and they had to secretly get all these patients into a Walmart with fluorescent lighting and public space, and they all came, and we did a surprise concert, Willie Porter and I, right in the middle of the women's clothing section. And everybody got piles of gifts, and everybody got a check, and the tears were flowing. And there's a video of it also on my YouTube page, and it's short, and you can just see that and cry your eyes out. And just know that people are doing good things in the world, and there's a lot of ways we can be a part of that.
You're doing great things with your music and sharing these stories. It becomes that oral tradition where we pass it forward, pay it, like you said, pay it forward, but share the stories. Yeah. And I hope everyone out there that's listening, you'll take these opportunities to share these stories and maybe help someone that that's having that is right now dealing with cancer. Wow.
That was so beautiful, Mai.
That was very beautiful.
And I just want to say I love you. So.
Yeah.
I love you, Paul, and I know you understand this story very much as well.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Let's flip the page.
Howard, it's not going to get any heavier than that.
I know. Howard's like...
Hope not.
You can take it any way. Like if you're going to do a heavy song, I mean, it could go heavier. Or you can just, now it's just going to be so great.
I lost so much weight in the last few months.
I know. Sorry. I think I'm done with all that.
Oh, God. It's funny.
Well, let me, obviously that was extremely touching and moving. And I was going to play one song, but I think I'm going to play another one as a result of your song, Mai. And it's something I've been doing for a long time on piano and harmonica together. And it's sort of a bit of a, I don't know what you want to call it, but a follow up to your song. It's kind of about what you were singing about indirectly,
Nice.
called My One and Only Love.
Oh,
And it's a very famous jazz standard, and there was a beautiful recording of it done by the great jazz singer Johnny Hartman with John Coltrane and his quartet. And if anyone wants to listen to that, that's really, really a mind-blowingly beautiful performance. But I hope I can live up to the beauty of the song, and I'm going to play it for you now.
Howard.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
Howard.
Howard. Wow.
Oh,
Amazing. Oh,
wow.
Oh, thanks.
I am speechless. That's such a beautiful tone.
oh,
I always loved the Johnny Hartman version there too, but you took it to a whole other level, Howard.
Oh my
Several octaves higher, I would say, at least.
What?
Thought of you makes my heart sing. That's the way he sang.
Yeah.
so good.
Howard,
Oh my gosh, it was amazing.
Oh, glad you all enjoyed it. It's
Wow.
it's weird taking the headphones off and cutting the electric umbilical cord to you, and just here I am sitting in my dining room playing, and then I come back and I'm back in the cyber universe. I'm very glad to see smiling faces.
Well, I like
That's
the
so
idea
good.
that you have a piano in your dining room.
Yeah, well, it's a piano room.
Oh, okay.
The dining room's actually been moved to the back. We built an addition onto the house because we have no dining room. This is
Piano comes first.
Mr. Steinway's room.
That's right, Mr. Steinway's room.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my
Howard.
gosh. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
And there's so many thank yous that we need to send out tonight. And just to give a shout out to some folks who have just been incredibly generous. Elizabeth Yates, Jim Burke, Tracy Jackman and John Jackman, good friends of ours, Catherine Kidd. You all are just have been so generous, and we so appreciate it. Alan Dranetsky and Mitchell Galen and Jim Burke, and I mean I can't even read through them all. Marilyn Kidd and Loretta Salisbury. Thank you so much. And if I didn't get a chance to call out your name, just know that every donation is so important and so welcomed. We're humbled, and we're just so grateful that we have some amazing folks with us tonight.
Yes,
It's
well.
been very magical. And so, Paul, I think
Well, I was thinking we would skip me right now because I just want to hear more of Mai and Howard.
okay.
And we get to play every concert. So we've had like 25 concerts now, and I'm starting to run out of material without having to relearn something from the Stone Age of my past. But I would love to hear more of them. But I got to tell a Howard story. This is my This is one of my favorite Howard stories. So
Okay.
it was when Flecktones were just starting out, and you called me up one day, and I was out on the road with Trapezoid and said, Flecktones are playing in D.C. Can we stay at your house? And we live out in the country in Rappahannock County in Little Washington. And I said, sure, but Julie's out performing somewhere, and this was long before cell phones. And she's probably not getting home until 2 o'clock in the morning. This is my late wife, Julie Portman. And, but yeah, just go ahead and you all can stay there. So Julie comes rolling in about 2 o'clock in the morning. And if you all know the Flecktones and know what Future Man looks like, Julie comes up to the door, and Future Man in his dreads and wild looking cat comes to the door with his hands up saying, I'm a friend of Howard's.
Oh no.
It didn't faze Julie at all.
Oh my God. Oh gee.
Great stories. Great friends.
Oh, weird.
So let's swing back around. Mai, would you play another one for us?
Sure, I'll play I think it's kind of a little shorter one. Yeah, God, I mean, thank you so much for sharing your music today, Howard and Paul and Cheryl. It's been such a treat. That's one of the best things about the Zoom platform is, besides the live streaming everyone's doing from home, but when we get to cross-pollinate and meet new people. I had not met Howard before, as far as I remember, and it's just been glorious. Like, such a beautiful way to spend a Sunday. Thank you. And thanks again to everybody who came and who figured out how to log on. And,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think maybe it'll be up for a while afterwards on Facebook.
We'll put it up on Facebook and also on YouTube, and it'll be up for quite some time. So tell your
cool.
friends, tell them to come watch.
yeah, come watch. And I guess you guys are doing this regularly, so I hope to meet more new people. And Howard, you sang a song back, yeah, when you were reading the poem. What was that song called again? You're muted. It was like Flower in the Afternoon or something.
It's called Make Your Heart a Garden.
Oh,
I wrote it in, actually on September 1st, 1991. I kept the date on the original handwritten. And just later started to realize that I could maybe read it as a poem with musical background, having played with some spoken word artists who did stuff like that. And I got enough courage up to do it live, and I discovered I liked doing that.
And so are there recordings of that song we can hear somewhere?
No, but I'm planning on recording an audiobook of my
Okay.
of my whole book, and this poem is one of the poems in it. So I will be doing that.
Good.
It's totally improvised music. I never do it.
Oh, you heard it today here, people. Oh my gosh. Well, that was gorgeous. I love that you improvise it every time. Well, it made me think of this song. And when you started to do your spoken word singing, it was beautiful and so low, baritone, bass even. And reminded me of a lot of Leonard Cohen. And maybe you get that sometimes. I don't know, because you were channeling something about him to me. And when I was touring a lot with Adam Cohen, Adam is Leonard's son. And so I had the wonderful opportunity of getting to meet Leonard Cohen and really actually spending a lot of time in their home in Montreal, because we did a lot of touring in Canada. And that was quite a rare treat, a once-in-a-lifetime treat that I got to do more than once in my life. And the first time I got to that home, it's just, it's so zen and calm and spacious and simple and humble. And I was really moved, obviously, to be there, and it was so surreal. And I said, well, I absolutely must write a song in this house while I'm here. And this was maybe, I don't know, yeah, I guess it was 8 or so years ago, 7, 8 or 9 years ago. And I had a little guest room. We were all staying there for a few days working on rehearsing. And one night I had this little baby guitar, and I stayed up in my guest room, one of the little rooms, and stayed up till like 3, 4, 5 in the morning, just quietly trying to write this, because I just wanted to get something. And this is what came out. And this is called Sway. Okay. I sure wish we had a whole hall full of reverb for this one. You just have to imagine. Hold on. 1 second. Plug in the guitar, people. It's gonna be better. All right. Now it might sound like a little more reverb. Sway me to the moon. Let's get lost in an orbital swoon. Sail me to the stars. We'll burn bright like beating hearts and throw out your lines. Draw me in like summertime. I'll swim up your river if you swim up mine. Let's intertwine. Every now and then I wake up in the middle of a dream. Can't be sure of what is real can last all night. Morning comes too soon when we're swaying the moon. So dance me to the music like a burning violin. Dance me through the panic and gather me in. Lift me like an olive branch, be my homeward dove. Dance me to the end of love. Of love. 'Cause every now and then I wake up in the middle of a dream. Can't be sure of what is real or fantasy, so I close my eyes and we fly. You and
Oh
just
my
so
gosh, that
beautiful,
was
Mai.
beautiful.
Thank you.
I just love that. I just, I don't know. I don't
Awesome.
know how to, it's just like dancing and
Hmm.
on clouds. It's just, oh.
It's kind of neat to write a song when you're like half asleep.
Yeah.
You go in uncharted territory.
Yeah. Angela said I could listen to that one on repeat.
Oh, thanks, Angela.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. We have so enjoyed having you with us tonight. So, this being your first experience, how are you feeling?
I'm so happy. I mean, it's a real treat to get to do it on Zoom where you get to see everybody's faces.
Yeah.
I know there's more folks out there on Facebook, but yeah, this was great. I actually had a couple faux pas. I don't even, my guitar was definitely unplugged for at least one song. So that was a stinker.
Didn't even
But
Wow.
we were so in heaven.
We were so intent on listening.
yeah, thanks, you guys. Thanks for giving me a great way to break the ice. And I kind of, now I've got the bug. Now I want to do it again. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Awesome. It's just, it's been so magical tonight. And so I think we're going to give the final
word to Howard.
word to Howard.
We want to thank you all for being here, and we want to tell you about our next concert, which is going to be on August 27th.
September, honey.
September, I'm sorry.
Please
You know,
don't
as they
take us
say,
back
the
off.
days are running together, and the months are running together, and maybe the years will run together. September 27th, we're going to have our dear friend Steve Seskin,
Who you met tonight.
who wrote a couple of those songs with Mai, and I've written a bunch of songs with Steve also. And also Lynn Kuntz, who has just had a new record come out that was produced by Amy Spees. And Amy is another teacher out at Rocky Mountain Song School with us, and Amy was also in Thousand Questions with Howard and I. So I am so looking forward to that concert, but I tell you, tonight, just amazing, amazing, amazing. I know that all this music's been bottled up inside of us, but boy, when it comes out, it really does something.
It's beautiful.
So thank you all, and thank you all for donating to the tip jar that goes to the musicians. I know that all of them have had all their shows canceled for the foreseeable future. And Cheryl and my share goes to Kid Pan Alley so that we can continue our work with the children. We're doing songwriting workshops online with kids in schools now, and it's so needed because they have all this, they're spending their days in Zoom meetings online and mostly sitting and getting and trying to figure out how to do stuff. And so they really come alive when you ask what they're thinking about and what they want to write about, and then writing a song with them and getting to sing it for them and recording it has made a huge difference for these children. And so we appreciate your help in being able to continue to spread the songwriting word out there. So thank you, everybody. And
Hey, Paul.
I look forward to seeing you then. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
I just want to say I was really looking forward to September 27th, and I still am, but I'm a little worried about the stories you might tell about me. I'm counting on your memory to not remember certain things.
Yes. Well, I do have a song called I Can't Remember, I Forgot. But I doubt I'll forget all the stories about you. But you probably have some ones about me that are way more embarrassing.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's all kind and it's all G-rated here.
Absolutely. Totally.
So we look forward to seeing you on the 27th,
Yeah, and
Steve.
hearing about
What a night. What an inspiring night tonight. Just fabulous music. So thanks to everybody who played tonight. And thanks, Mai. And just to hear Howard and always to hear you, Paul. It's such a pleasure. So thanks to all of you tuned in. And I'll see you on the 27th.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Howard, take us home.
All right. Well, that last tune that Mai played was very beautiful and lilting and kind of semi-mysterious. And it reminded me of a tune of mine that I wasn't going to play, but I am going to play it now. So it's called Seresta, and I wrote it with this fantastic Brazilian pianist. We basically improvised it together in a recording studio, and he was just playing chords, and I made up the melody. And it later it was recorded by Paquito de Rivera and also by the Flecktones and many other artists all over the world, gypsy jazz groups and Venezuelan bands and all sorts of people like this tune. So I'm going to finish with Seresta. And it means serenade in Brazilian. It's in Portuguese rather. I asked Manfredo, what are we going to call this? He said, it reminds me of a seresta. I said, what's that? And he told me, a serenade. I said, okay, here it is. So originally I played it on harmonica and he played it on piano, but I'm kind of combining his arrangement and the Flecktones and the way that Paquito plays it.
Oh my.
Standing ovation.
Standing O.
Oh,
And a little dancing. Oh my gosh. Thank
Oh.
you, Howard, and thank you, Mai, for being with us tonight. Thank you, everyone, for joining in
Yeah,
and
very-
sharing such a great concert this evening.
Oh,
Thank you,
yes.
Paul.
All of you.
Yeah, and any of
Great.
you, anything
Thank
you
you.
want to say to the musicians now? I put back on gallery view. Just unmute yourself, and if you have any questions or anything you'd like to say.
I think we're all just so.
Yeah.
I mean,
in-
okay, I just thought that was so cool that we get this opportunity to see Howard's hands up close while he's playing. Like you'd never get that at a big concert. That was awesome.
oh,
And you realize his fingers are as long as my arm.
Yeah.
He has the longest fingers.
I'm half platypus, I think. Yeah.
Spectacular. Just gorgeous. Both all of you guys. Wow.
Well,
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you all.
Have a wonderful week next week, and we'll see you on the 27th. See you there, Steve. We're gonna figure out those stories. Don't worry about it. We're gonna be good.
I'm going to practice my piano playing between now and then.
Okay.
23 hours a day.
Yeah, I think I'd have to practice about 7,000 hours a day to get to that. I'd still never get to it because so much of what Howard does is his musical brain and his musical conception, where he can play a harmonica in one key and a piano in another key and modulate between all these keys and keep it all together at the same time. I remember one time on a recording session, we needed a timbale player. We didn't have one. So Howard did it with his mouth. He played the timbale part on a John McCutcheon record.
Wow.
I actually remember that because I had just played a gig with Tito Puente, and that was like in my subconscious. Yeah, I do remember doing that. Wow, too much.
Well, we're grateful for the friendship over these close to 40
Yes.
years now, my friend. And so thank you for that. And thank you for gracing all of our friends with your wonderful music. And same for you, Mai. All love to all of you. And we'll see you all on the 27th. I'll put a little thing up here about the concert. And there we go. And good night, everyone.
Thank you.
night,
Good
everyone.
night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
And there's Howard right there.